G'day everybody, it's James here from Dark Arts Lockpicking. Hope you all do well. Pixbox doing some hacking, but as always keeping it bloody legal. And today I wanted to talk about bumping. Lock bumping. A method used to gain entrance into a lock, or to gain an open on a lock I should say. It is a kinetic attack. In other words, you are causing a force, a kinetic force to hit the pins inside of the lock, causing them to bounce, separating hopefully at the shear line, and thus allowing you to rotate the core and get an open. Now this does require a specialized piece of equipment, a special key that has been cut to a certain depth, certain spacing that will work on that lock. Now at doubt.com.au we actually sell the Aussie 5 bump key set, or the Oz 5 bump key set that I cut myself and sell, which you get the most common keys used here in Australia. Now today we've got an LW keyway. This happens to be an LW4, which means it is a 5-pin lock, not the LW5, which is a 6-pin. And I have a bump key that I actually cut myself. These are ones that I sell. And as you can see, if I use the actual key in the lock, as you can see, she rotates that core. But if I take a bump key, it ain't going to turn. That will not turn in that lock because it is not cut to the correct depths for this lock. But if we were to strike this key with force and push it in as quickly as possible to bounce those pins, hopefully separate them at the shear line, we should be able to get that key to turn, thus opening the lock. Now you can strike these keys with a screwdriver, pair of pliers, your shoe, anything that you can actually strike the key with enough force to get those pins to bounce. Now I don't mean smack it as hard as you can so you snap the key off, or worse, hit your fingers. I've done it a few times, trust me, I've hit my fingers and it hurts a little bit. But you want to strike it with enough force that it will actually push in quickly, causing those pins to bounce. Now, in order for this to work, you actually need to pull it out one click so that your key is sitting offset to the pins. So that when you strike, the pins are going to bounce up off the front slant of that key. So as it pushes in like that, it's actually going to cause it to bounce off that and down into the second cut, if that makes sense. I'll grab another bump key here. So your pin will sit right on the front of the key here, and then as you push it in, it will bounce up off that peak and then drop back down into there. Hopefully that is enough force to get it to bounce and open the lock. So what that would look like, I'm going to take a hammer here because my actual bump hammer's out in my car. I'm going to add very slight turning pressure to the key. So I'm literally just going to turn the key, add a little tension to it. Little turn, not too much. Keep my fingers out the way. And I'm just going to strike the key. And as you can see, we just got that to separate at the shear line and that core to turn. Now, sometimes it doesn't happen first shot. So you will have to pull your key out one click, strike it, pull it out one, which will go in, pull it out one click, pull, and then it is a very slow method. 1, 1, 1. There is a way you can actually speed up your chances of getting an open, and that's using one of these little rubber rings. These are actually castration bands that you can purchase. Luckily, if you buy a set of the Oz 5 bump key sets, I actually throw a few of these in for you. This, you just literally slide it over the end of your key like that. It acts like a little rubber bumper, like on the bumper cars. And what happens is it automatically pushes that key out one click. But they are springy enough that when you push in or strike that key, it will actually push in to that rubber. So it will still cause that key to go in one click, causing the pins to bounce, but then it will automatically push it back out again. So that you can rapidly attack the locks by really hitting it as quickly as possible, increasing your chances of getting an opening. So how that would look, now to keep my fingers out of the way, I'm actually going to use a tension wrench. on this key. Good way to help protect your fingers is to use something like that. And then I'm literally just going to strike the key a couple of times like that, causing it to bounce and get an open. And again, to show you, look, the key's not going to turn on that. Now, it doesn't always happen first shot, but a couple of strikes, and as you can see, we have an open. So lock bumping is a great method for gaining entrance into locks or getting opens. It's a great little skill to learn. It does take quite a bit of practice to get efficient at it. Learning the correct amount of tension to add for that lock, your striking force, you're going to strike it hard enough, not hard enough. You know, there's a lot of variables that go into it, just like picking, but a little bit of practice and you can actually get quite proficient at bumping. And there's a reason why locksmiths use it, is because it's a great method of gaining entrance. The only thing is, it does leave evidence, which is usually, like you can kind of see on this lock just here, you can see that little square dent right on the top of the keyway. Now, that will happen to locks over time. We've putting keys in, but like this older one down the bottom just here, this older lock, as you can see, has a little bit of a dent right at the top of that keyway. That is from years and years and years of use, but bumping will cause the key to strike into the top of the core, thus giving you a little bit of evidence that shows that, you know, you've been there bumping that lock, because of the top of the key just here when it strikes, because you're using force, and I'm knocking my camera into that lock, causing the top of that key to strike the core. So it does leave evidence of you doing it, but it's a great little method and a great one to learn. Great for lock sporters. It's another little trick up your arsenal for Locksport. It's also great for pen testers, locksmiths, and stuff like that. So, as always, remember, great method of gaining access, but you got to keep it bloody legal. Don't use it on locks that you don't own or have the owner's permission to use it on. Head over to doubt.com.au. You can purchase your set today. You get a few bands thrown in there as well. Each set is cut by hand to order. And yeah, if you like what you see, please hit that thumbs up, hit that notification bell and the subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. Check out all the links in the description down below. Hit us up in the comments section. Don't forget our private Discord server is now up, which is a subscription-based one where you can learn lots of great stuff. And as always, keep it bloody legal. Till next time, cheers guys.